Hello. Thank you for joining me on my webinar on Introduction to Web Development, specifically Introduction to HTML. HTML is the backbone of anything that runs on the web. Anything that you see on the browser ends up as HTML. Being it a website or a web application, they all end up being rendered as HTML. So HTML is actually a king when it comes to web apps and web development. You cannot learn web development without knowing HTML, irrespective of the language that you're going to use, being it PHP, being it ASP, being it JSP, whatever. The backbone is HTML, and you need to get your HTML right. So this webinar, I'm going to take you through the introduction of HTML. I'm just hoping we'll be able to capture a lot of the nitty-gritty of HTML to get you started, to get you going, to get you being a guru in web development. Just stay tuned. My name is Victor from easycodinglab.com, and I'm your facilitator for this webinar. I'm going to share my screen so we can kickstart with my presentation. Once again, welcome to Introduction to Web Development. What is HTML? HTML is a standard markup language for creating web pages. So like I said earlier on, whatever web page you want to create, you can't create it without going through HTML, because at the end of it, it all gets rendered as HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and I'm going to explain to you what Hypertext Markup Language, what Hypertext and what Markup Language is in my next slide. HTML describes the structure of web pages using markup. HTML elements are building blocks of HTML pages. So all this I've explained earlier on, saying whatever that is being rendered on the web ends up as HTML. So HTML is actually key when it comes to web development. HTML tags label piece of context such as heading, paragraph, table, and so on. So the headings, the paragraph, and the tables are used to structure the HTML pages. That makes the page that you are looking looks presentable to the end user. So the table, the paragraph, and the header and other tags are what is used to structure the HTML page. And HTML pages are displayed in browsers. Browsers do not display the HTML tags, but use them to render the content of the page. So what is a markup? Markup language are designed for processing definition and presentation of text. So the markup language is just a text which contains tags that is used to format the layout of the web page that you are using. So markup language is not anything strange, but just a text that contains tags and links, also called hypertext, that is used to structure and render your HTML page. Hypertext, as I said earlier on, is just a text containing links to other texts. So you have a string of text that when you click on it, it opens another page. So the text where you click is what is called the hypertext. So HTML is made up of such links and then tags. Let's take a look at a simple HTML document. Mostly this is the structure of HTML document. This is how HTML documents looks like. Every HTML document that you view have this particular structure. They have a document type, they have the parent HTML tag, they have a header tag, they have a title tag, and then they have a body tag. Every HTML every HTML page have this particular HTML structure. It's standard. And I'll go ahead and explain the tags to you, what they mean in my subsequent slides. So let me explain to you the structure of the HTML document as you saw earlier on. So every HTML document has a doc type. Doc type simply means document type, and then you specify what it is. So HTML. So any browser that says this doc type knows that this is an HTML document, and they need to render it as such. Every HTML document has a parent tag called HTML. So this is where all the tags falls under. And it has also a header tag. So immediately followed by the HTML tag is a header tag where you put mostly your metadata. So for instance, you can put there the content of your page, the author of your page, everything goes in here in the header tag of your HTML. Then immediately after the header tag comes the title tag. The title tag is where you specify the name of your page or the title of your page. That is what will be shown when you open your page in a browser. When you check the name on the tab of the browser, you see the name, the title of your document over there. So this is where you put the title of your document. You put it inside the title tag. And then after the title tag, you have the body tag. The body tag is where all the visible things that you see on the browser goes. Everything that you want the end user to see, you need to put it in the body tag. If you put it anywhere outside the body tag, it gets hidden. Nobody can see it. So all your contents on the web page should be in the body tag. And we have other tags such as the H1 and then the paragraph and then so on. So these tags are used to format the text in the body. Other words, they are used to format the text that the end user sees in the browser. So HTML are used to emphasize headings of your text. So we have from H1 to H6, H1 being the highest and then H6 being the lowest. So H1 boldens your text and places a lot of emphasis on your text. Paragraph is used to define paragraphs in your HTML document. As the name suggests, paragraph is a paragraph. If you want to start a new paragraph in a normal word, it's similar to doing so in HTML. The paragraph tags does exactly that. It starts a new paragraph in your document for you. So let's go back again and take a second look at our HTML structure. So this is again our HTML structure. So you have the document type, and then you have the HTML tag as the parent tag over here, and then the head. And inside the head, you have the title. Inside the head also, we can have the metadata, as I explained earlier on, where you can have the author of the page and describe what the page is all about. And mostly search engine optimization is also done partly in the header section of your HTML document. So followed by the head is the body tag. The body tag, you see we have my first heading, my first paragraph. So this is what actually will be rendered on the browser for the end user to see. So whatever you want the end user to see, whatever you want to appear in the browser, you have to put it inside the body tag. So far, you've heard me mentioning tag. So what is tags all about? HTML tags are element names surrounded by angle brackets. So this is the syntax for HTML tag. You have a less than sign and then the name of the tag and then a greater than sign. And then you put in the contents of your tag. So the contents of your tag goes here and then you close your tag. You close your tag with a / and every tag that is open has to be closed. It is mandatory that you close every tag that you open. There are few tags which does not need to be closed when it's open, and we'll get to such tags in due course. But for now, just bear in mind that any tag that you open has to be closed. So for example, the paragraph tag that we opened, the tag name was P. So it was less than P and then greater than, and then we put in there our content. And then we close our tag with the greater than sign /P and then with the less than sign. The HTML tags normally come in pairs, like the paragraph, open paragraph tag and the closing paragraph tag that I explained earlier on. The first tag in a pair is a start tag. The second tag is the closing tag. So this is the start tag, and then this is your closing tag. The end tag is written like the start tag, but with a / inserted before the tag name. So that's what differentiates the start tag from the end tag, as I've explained earlier on. You've heard me also mention browser. So what is a browser? A browser is what the web pages is actually rendered or displayed in. So example of browsers are the Chrome, IE, Firefox, and Safari. So the browser reads the HTML documents and displays them or renders them. The browser does not display the HTML tags itself, but it uses them to determine how to display the documents. So the tags does not show up in your browser. It does not show up in your browser. But then what actually you see is the content of your web page. So the browser looks at the tag and then it uses it to determine how to lay out the structure of your HTML page to look presentable to the end user. HTML editors are platforms that we write our HTML documents in. And for beginners, mostly what I advise is if you're learning HTML for the first time, or if you're not learning HTML, I suggest or I strongly recommend you use Notepad to start your learning of HTML. Because Notepad makes you type everything yourself, and by typing everything yourself, you tend to learn more. You tend to understand what you're typing. If you can also write your HTML document in professional editors such as Dreamweaver, Note++, or Sublime. But then what some of these professional editors do for you is they suggest some of the codes for you, or they write some of the codes for you to continue, thereby not making you learn efficiently if you start with that. So I strongly recommend using Notepad in PC or text editor in Mac to start with your development. Okay, so now let's get our hands dirty. Let's write some HTML code. For want of time, I'm going to copy this HTML structure and paste it in Notepad. We save it and then we see how it renders in the browser. So let me exit my presentation. Then copy this. Then let me open a Notepad. So I've opened my Notepad and I'll paste what I copied in here. Let me format it well. So this is our HTML structure. Mostly, I would like to indent my codes so that they appear presentable. And it's part of writing clean code. If you want to learn how to write clean code, I've created a video on how to write clean code. So you can just click on the link up there and then you can watch my video on how to write clean code. So if you indent your code, it actually makes your code look very presentable and it makes your code easy to step through. Now let's go ahead and then save our document. But before we save our document, we need to create a folder where we're going to save our HTML files. So I've created a folder here in my, H drive called HTML. So this is what is going to be my root folder. This one I'm going to save my files. So I recommend that you create this, and then let's go ahead and then save our file in this folder. So go ahead, browse for the file. I'm going to name my file index.html. Every HTML document should have the extension .html or .htm. If you use this extension, the browser sees this as an HTML document. Any other extension, the browser will not be able to recognize it as an HTML document. So I'll go ahead and save it as a .html document. Click on save. So let's go ahead and open our browser. I've opened my Chrome. So you can type the path to your document in the address bar over here. You can also go into the document that you created. Let's go ahead and double click on the index.html to open our document. So this is how our document looks like. So let me try and then split this page for you to exactly see what is happening over here. Let me split this. Okay. So you see what I was trying to explain to you. Whatever you see in the body section is what is rendered inside the browser. So whatever that you put outside this body section, you don't get to see it in the browser. And then the H1 tag that I was explaining to you, that you use it to emphasize a heading. This is how it appears. So my first HTML heading, you see this as bold and stands out. So it tells you that this is actually a heading. And then the paragraph, this is how the paragraph also gets displayed or rendered in the browser. So with this little insight, I just hope you've been able to have a deeper understanding of how this HTML structure works. Thank you for watching. If this episode has been valuable to you, kindly give me a thumbs up. And if you want to be notified when I release the next episode of this Introduction to Web Development series, kindly subscribe to this channel and you'll receive the notification as soon as I release the next episode. See you again in another video. Once again, thank you for watching.